Wait for everybody to show up here. I had changed things. I had said I was going to do this at 4, and then I realized that the president was going to be making a very important address. So I switched it to 4:30. Here it is, 4:30, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it if I'm doing it alone. But I got Dorothy Tyndall here. I imagine my mate Kathy McLeod's going to be showing up pretty quick. They were both people that asked. Oh, a bunch of people have popped on. That was quite an address on his part. Hello, Jason. A necessary one, and it's one that, and that's kind of what I am talking about today. I told you yesterday to, hold on to your hats. This one isn't going to be all friendly and light. And this is going to be in keeping with what the president just did and said. That was decisive action. Something has to be done to stem this shit, and he took a stance. Unfortunately, it is a stance requiring, once again, executive order to get the job done. That's not how it should be, and that's not how it's going to last. Executive order only does so much. But I want to talk to you about something. I want to talk to you about something that I am getting really pissed about. We had, back in November, we did a thing. We did an important damn thing. We elected Joe Biden president. We maintained our lead in the House. And we at least got to a majority in the Senate as long as we have our vice president, which we do, which means we have the Senate, the House, and the White House. Which also means we should be having all kinds of wonderful things that we voted for happening. And that shit ain't happening. That shit is just hanging there. And I'm getting tired of it. I mean, I am just getting flat-footed fucking tired of it. We won in November in 2020. We scored a solid victory. We got Donald Trump the fuck out of our White House, although we're still cleaning up the rugs, the stain of that fucker. Got him out of power, put a person in place there who should be in power, and started to dream about righting the wrongs of the last 4 years. And to those Trumpers, to those people on the right, to the Republicans, I'm sorry, you lost. Like it or not, that's how it is. But let's move forward 10 months from there. What have we gotten done? And we made a few gains, but for each of those, there's been a setback in other areas. We're still waiting on the infrastructure bill. We're still waiting on voting rights. We're still waiting on the John Lewis bill. There are so many things that aren't getting done. We are the majority. We are the overwhelming fucking majority, and this stuff is not getting done. Now, we got the stimulus bill passed, but voting rights, women's health, all of that's been stripped away on the state level in several states, and more to come. So what have we gained? What is our net gain? Not much of shit. We got a major infrastructure bill on the table right now, and it's our own side that's threatening to scuttle the goddamn thing. We'll talk a little bit more about I'll talk about those numbers right now. I want you to think about a number. This is at the absolute end of what I'm talking about here, but I want you to think about a number. That infrastructure bill is $3.5 trillion. It's it's a budgetary process bill. That's why the House can deal with something like this. Budget thing. $3.5 trillion over the course of 10 years. Let me say that again. Over the course of 10 fucking years. You know how much we spend at our current rate on defense in 10 years? Try $7 trillion. We're looking for 3.5 to put the country back on its feet to make it work right. And people like Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, and there are others, so I'm told, of our party, think that $3.5 trillion is too much over the course of 10 years. But $7 trillion over the course of 10 years, so that people like Dick Cheney and the others that are of his, or well, he's not around anymore, but the Halliburton people, the Raytheon people, so they can all be rich. We can spend $7 trillion over 10 years, but we can't spend $3.5 trillion over 10 years to put the country back together after the shit and mess that Donald Trump left, while we have the fucking majority. While we have the majority. Joe Manchin wants to hit the pause button. The pause button. Pause for what? We've been waiting 4 years just to get that shit stain out of our White House and to get things done. And now it's our own caucus that wants to hit the pause button? That, folks, is our problem. We as Democrats, that's our problem. Every time we hold the reins, we waste our power. And we do it by infighting, worrying about how I'm going to get elected the next time. Fuck you and your next time. If we lose this and we don't get anything done, there is no fucking next time. You're looking at 2022. Well, I want to make sure I get reelected. Hold on, you dumb shit. You want to get reelected. You don't want to lose. You don't want to lose because of why? You don't want to lose because of the things you didn't fucking do? Or you don't want to lose because of the things you did do? If I'm going to lose, beat me because of the things that I did do. Not the things that I sat on my fucking hands for. We're creating our own chaos. And while we're doing that, the GOP and the shit-stained Trump are marching forward in lockstep. We're kicking each other's asses while they're being the fucking Nazis that they are. Marching, hands held high, forward, trying to push their archaic, draconian agenda. Look at Texas. Look at what they're doing to us. While we sit on our hands and talk about, well, that might be a little too much money. I might not get reelected. Fuck you getting reelected. If you're not going to get elected for the things you can and will do, then you don't deserve to be in office. It's no more complex than that. If you can't be elected for your platform, if you can't be elected for the things that you are for, you don't deserve to be in office. So what, Joe Manchin? You might lose. You should lose. You're knocking us back decades. Kristen Sinema, yeah, it's going to be a rough race. You might lose. Too fucking bad. If you can't win on doing the stuff that we should get done, you shouldn't be there. Is it any simpler than that? There's a huge difference between having power and exercising power. And it's absolutely meaningless if you don't use it. Using it requires that we start acting in one accord. We're not doing that. And it's not just hurting us. It's hurting our hopes for the future and any forward motion. The team of horses is standing there idle and chomping at the bit. They want to go. They want to pull that wagon. I know I do. But what are we doing? We're fighting over the fucking reins. I put this in an essay a little while ago. It's so true. We are fighting over the goddamn reins. No, Joe Biden has set an agenda. Do what you can to follow that agenda. The Republicans did that with Trump, no matter how fucking stupid it was. They were all over that shit. And here we are with good things that will help the country knock that crazy shit that he did back. And you're fighting over how we should get it done and whether or not we should get it done? What the fuck is wrong with you? We're going to, again, at this rate, no doubt we're going to lose in 2022, but we're going to lose for not getting a goddamn thing done. If we're going to lose, let's lose for we enacted this, this, and this, and this as law, and the country decided they didn't like it. Isn't that the whole point of having a platform? A lot of people realize that I'm a moderate Democrat. And I've been called that as much as Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema have. I've been told I was working on the other side, that more from the more progressive side, our wing. Don't come at me with you don't understand the pressures they're under. Yes, they do. So they're under those pressures. So what? That's why you were fucking elected. That's why you were given the job in the first place. To live up to these pressures. You're not. And there's a lot more of them in our caucus that are quietly doing the same thing. We got to stop this. We've got to stop this infighting. And we've got to stop fighting for these little slivers of progress and demand in one voice that we start doing the shit that needs to get done, the bigger picture, taking a mighty swing at some of this shit. We're not. We're sitting on our fucking hands. We've got to demand more of them. Yeah, if we do the things that Joe Biden wants to get done, they are going to use it against us. Yes, they are. So, again, we have the chance to make a change. We can do that by getting rid of the filibuster. We'll start there. Get rid of the filibuster. And if we have to, we can add seats to the court. All of those are going to be things where we start getting yelled at by the right saying, oh, it's just another Democrat power grab. After the shit we saw them do, we're doing a power. I'll take the goddamn slings and arrows of my oppressors coming from those assholes. This ain't nothing compared to the shit that they've done. Fuck that. We are the majority. We got to start acting like the goddamn majority. We got another possibility, but I don't know if it's achievable. And that is changing the Constitution itself. Getting rid of the filibuster, setting a number for the Supreme Court, and getting rid of the Electoral College. But that doesn't have a lot of hope. When you have the White House, the House of Representatives, and the Senate, you should be able to get something done. And we're not doing it. Look at our options. In my opinion, there's little else we can do but get rid of the filibuster to attain our goals. We've got to do something. That's got to be a start right there. And Mary Kelly, I don't know what you're talking about as far as them wanting what to happen. I don't really care. I don't care who wants what to happen. And that includes in our caucus. If you're far progressive and you want all of the change all at once, that ain't going to happen. But that doesn't mean we can't do some big things right now. Let's get some big things done. We've got the power to do it. Part of that problem is you. There, I said it. Are you making those calls enough? Are you pushing back hard enough? Are you calling Joe Manchin's office? Are you calling Kristen Sinema's office? Are you calling your Democratic representative's office and saying, hey, look, we're not getting anything done and I'm sick and tired of it. We got to do something about this. You don't like the way some things are moving? Well, would you rather have Trump? Would you rather have Trump I know I wouldn't rather have Trump in any way, shape, or form. But if we keep it up, we're going to get it, Trump, for doing nothing. For sitting on our hands, we're going to go back to Trumpism. We've got to fight this. This can't be just a sit around and do nothing. We aren't clueless. We aren't knee-jerk people. Use your brains. Demand better. Us moving together. Actions speak. Use our voices. Thank you, Gene. Exactly. Michael, so do I. I've got one. Everything else in this state is deep red. So fucking what? I'm still going to push. We have to push. And we have to push the other states too. Remember that they still think that Trump won. Give that some thought for a moment. Those people on the right, a lot of them really think that Trump won. We can't do any better than that, than those stupid fucks that think that Trump actually won the election. We can't come up with better plans. We can't enact better plans than dumb shits like that. I think we can. Do we get our information from Twitter? You know why they tuned away from Trump? Because they said that Trump lost. And that Fox News had turned on him too. So now they're turning to the wildest things in the world. We can't do better than that. We're smarter than that. Opinion and news are two different things. We, you and I, Blue Dots, we deal in facts. Demand that our representatives do too. Sitting on our hands is not an option. And if we don't do better, if we don't work harder and do better, then we are exactly the same as they are, and we deserve every fucking thing we get. What does it take to manifest change? Because we have to. Look at their frustration. Right now, they're saying, well, we got to live with it for 4 years. No, you really, yeah, I mean, for 4 years you do. You got to live with Biden, but all you got to do is just sit back and watch us devour ourselves if we keep going down the path we're going. It's all we got to do is keep doing nothing. H.R. 1. Does everybody understand what that stands for? The H.R. House Resolution 1. House Resolution 1. Do you know that it's still sitting there and hasn't been acted on? We've been in power for 10 months now. The very first piece of legislation that we put out there this term is still sitting there without anything being done on it. Here's the thing. If we don't go to work and get behind the platform, we may as well have lost those elections in 2020. You know, we want a reckoning for what was done. We want a reckoning for January 6th. We want a reckoning for all the shit that he pulled, the 2 times that he seemed to slide by on an impeachment. We can't even stand up for women's rights. And you're talking about a reckoning for something like that? Get your heads out of your asses and start looking at what needs to be done, not the retribution you'd like to see. Again, we have draconian laws being passed all across the country. We have laws taking away voting rights all across the country. And we're demanding a reckoning. We're fighting among ourselves how to get that. Fuck that. Fuck that. Get some work done. Get behind a platform. They eat their own. Think about that. They eat their own. January 6th and the way they treated Mike Pence. And we can't get laws into the books? Shame on us. Shame on us. Stand up, people. Stand up. Demand it. 2 things. We are the majority. And there's 33% that we aren't going to change. 33% of the country won't like what we're doing. Fuck them. Fuck that 33%. I don't care what happens with them. I don't care if they fall off the planet. We are the majority. 67% of us want a change. 67% of the country wants a change. Look at that number all the way across the board. Almost everything you look at, every set of numbers you look at talks about that 33%, the 67%. We're the 67%. Why the fuck aren't we using it? Why? We aren't powerless. We're not. By the way, Texas Democrats, you let this happen. You let it happen. The state is not behind it. The general populace is not behind what's going on in Texas. They think it's just as dumbass a law as we do. They think that a woman's right to choose should be there the same way that we do. But we didn't fight hard enough in Texas. Texas Democrats, you blew it. Fight harder, goddammit. Too many of the choices we're making right now are simple questions of right and wrong. Are you going to stand for the wrong simply because you're afraid to stand for the right? That's what I'm asking of Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. Are you going to stand for the wrong simply because you're afraid to stand for the right? I'm not. Stand up, people. Demand it. Demand it of them. Demand it of us. And let's keep going. Exactly, Gene. 72% of the Democrats get off the sofa and stop crying. Well, that's what I'm saying to you right now. Get off your fucking asses. But are you just going to piss this away? We worked that hard last year, and you're just going to piss it away? Because, well, I don't like this that he did. I don't like that. When you look at what happened in Afghanistan, that's just reprehensible. You know what? It happened. It happened. It was ugly. It was going to be ugly no matter what. Stop your fucking whining and get out and do something. What we've become, we have what we have because the Republicans are calling the shots and we're letting them. We are letting them call the shots. Think about that. Who is Joe Manchin allowing to make his decisions for him? It's a Republican state. He's letting the Republicans call the shots for him. I don't care. So you don't get elected again. Sarah McKenzie, shut the fuck up and get off my page. If I got one of my admins on her, boot her now. The moderates bitching over a $3.5 trillion bill that's over 10 years. 10 years. Do the math. Again, $7 trillion for defense spending in those same 10 years. Half the amount to make the country a better place than what we pay for bombs. You're going to sit back and take that? Are you just going to sit back and let that happen? I'm not. I'm pissed and I'm not letting it happen. I'm going to give you 2 telephone numbers right now. I'm going to give everybody a second to go get a pen. Get your pen, get your piece of paper, read this, listen to this all again, whatever. But I'm going to give you 2 telephone numbers. The first one, maybe it did. I really don't give a fuck what happened with Kellyanne Conway or Sean Spicer. I really don't. Big fucking deal. We've got to do more than that. That's so meaningless and petty. It's about like Sarah Ann's tacos. I don't care about it. We got to do more than shake them a little bit. They've got to know that we feel pretty much the way I feel. You don't feel the way I'm feeling right now? Tell me. Go ahead and tell me why you don't. But now, if you've got your pen, Joe Manchin's telephone number, 202-224-3954. Call him, 202-224-3954. Kristen Cinema's telephone number, 202-224-4521. Again, Kristen Cinema, 202-224-4521. Call them. Let them know that they are wasting every fucking game we've made. I don't want it wasted. I didn't work that hard for those 4 years against that orange piece of shit. You didn't. You didn't sit there and listen to all the things that John Bridevoe and I had to say, that Randy Kervin had to say, that T. Brown had to say, that all of the others that have used their voice this hard. You did not sit through all of that to watch all of this go away, to just watch us do nothing. You didn't do that. I didn't do that. Call those numbers I gave you. Now, if you agree with me, great. If you don't agree with me, great. You can tell me that right there. Post Office Box 853, Spencer, Tennessee, 38585. Let me know. Let me know what you're thinking. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm right. But I need to hear from you. I love all of you. We've got a lot of work to do, but we're not going to get it done sitting on our hands. Demand better, people. I love you, America. Share this shit.